So these are my new Levi jeans, and while they look like your standard blue jeans that you'd buy from the store, these are a part of Levi's efforts to make their denim more sustainable. In this case, using sustainably harvested wood. And they're not the only company trying out this new wood-based material. There are about 280 companies, including New Balance, ASOS, Armed Angel, Esprit, H&M, and so many others. So with all of this attention on this new material, we wanted to see why all of these big brands were barking up the same tree. This new material is called Tencel. Tencel is a relatively new material in the fashion world and seems to be useful in a bunch of different products, from shoes to jackets to even underwear. It's made from eucalyptus trees processed through some very interesting technology that we're gonna get to in a minute here, but Tencel's success so far comes from a variety of factors. It's more absorbent, less prone to bacterial development, but still breathable and flexible, which explains its versatility. But a huge component of its success is due to the fact that it is a more sustainable material. Because of its flexibility, both literally and metaphorically, Tencel is a promising new material for the fashion world. But as we learned through our research for this video, Tencel is not the first one to do crazy stuff with wood. Now, if you just saw Tencel's marketing materials, you would believe that this new material was spawned from pure imagination, when in reality, it's just the new viscose. Viscose was used in the 90s and it was also made from wood pulp. You might recognize them based on those really ugly old button-down shirts that people used to wear all the time. Kind of felt like velvet, but sort of felt like silk, but definitely wasn't. I don't know about you, but I was surprised to learn that apparently humans have been making fiber for clothing out of wood since 1883.
You mean we make cloth out of that?
Yes, we do.
So Tencel, or Tencel lyocell to be precise, is actually the third generation of this fabric family, made from regenerated cellulose extracted from wood pulp. The difference now is it's more absorbent, more resistant to wrinkling, and as we'll see later, a lot more sustainable. So despite being made from wood, this is still a semi-synthetic material. That's because you can't get wood fiber out of wood without a chemical process. And Tencel has developed a pretty innovative way to create this material. Using managed forests, they take eucalyptus trees, which are more sustainable than other fast-growing options like bamboo, sugarcane, and soy, which are the things that are typically used to produce viscose, and then they are processed into chips and then into pulp. Once pulped, it's turned into a fiber using a non-toxic solvent and water, of which 99% can be reused in a closed-loop system. And then they spin that into yarn, and then they knit your shoes with it. Now, this information is all proprietary and gathered from their website, so these details and all of the finessing in between there is stuff that we're gonna have to take at face value, because obviously they want us to think that they're awesome. For example, we don't really know what kind of renewable energy they're using, what forests they're actually harvesting the wood from, and how much of the system is really a closed loop. But even if half of their claims hold up, this is still a very impressive system. So at this point, we're pretty excited that Tencel exists. On paper, it sounds like the hero we've all been waiting for. But a lot of things sound good on paper that don't really in real life, like fruitcake and high school reunions. But clearly there's some proof in this pudding, which I would argue is yet another thing that sounds better on paper. Pudding gang, don't come after me. So what has made Tencel so successful with so many companies? It's a great question. Another question I'd like to know is, how have we become so popular in the last couple of months? Holy cow, this channel has doubled in size in the last month, and it's all because of people like you who have chosen to subscribe to our channel and share these videos with your friends. So if you like what we are doing here and you want to see more content from us, please consider hitting that subscribe button or joining us on Reddit or one of our other social media accounts, because all of that helps us produce these videos on the internet for you, and we freaking love it. So thank you so much. But just like our formula for popularity, Tencel's formula for popularity is simple: versatility and sustainability. Tencel is an amazing material because both the mainstream clothing industry and genuinely sustainability focused brands can use it. it can be used with a whole bunch of different materials, whether it be recycled polyester or organic cotton, and it adds that breathable and antibacterial characteristics like we've mentioned before. But the fact that it adds a layer of credibility from a sustainability standpoint is really the cherry on top. Tencel is a trademark technology, which has some interesting implications. Trademarking a material like this is not uncommon in the fashion industry. Take companies like Gore-Tex or Lycra. Any brand can use these technologies to make their gear better and acts as a sign of quality to the consumer, whether or not they like the brand to begin with. In the case of Tencel, the trademark guarantees that the fabric under this label is sustainable. The trees that are used are coming from sustainably managed forests, following the environmental and social policies of the company that owns them. This guarantee comes in handy because according to the NGO Canopy, about half of all cellulose fibers come from ancient or endangered forests. So basically, the trademark for Tencel is kind of a label itself. Brands don't have to do the sustainability work for their own products, but they pay Tencel to have done that work for them. Now here is where things get a little sticky. Not every company uses Tencel in a similar way. Innovative brands will offer 100% Tencel products or blend it with recycled polyester or organic cotton, things that are already more sustainable than the standards. Patagonia, for example, even committed to work towards using Tencel from wood cellulose waste streams rather than using virgin materials, which takes this whole model to a whole other level. Other companies are using this label to basically greenwash customers. You know, a little dash of sustainability Tencel to their normal, terrible tasting business model where they just make a whole bunch of unnecessary crap and sell it to you for as cheap as possible. H&M is the worst, as usual. Let's be clear. Just because a brand is introducing a more sustainable material into their product line does not mean that the brand is sustainable. Now from Patagonia to H&M, it seems like the wheels are in motion, right? The fashion world is getting the revolution that it really desperately needs. But not quite. While Tencel seems to be everywhere, when you look at volume, it actually only represents 0.003% of fiber production in the world. That ain't much. I mean, it's forecasted to grow in the next few years as demands for more sustainable products increases. But we're still dealing with a pretty small chunk of the pie. The worst case scenario is that Tencel ends up being used as a sort of symbol with not much behind it, in a similar way that there are now certified organic Doritos. Yes, this is a real thing. We talked about it in our Whole Foods episode. If Tencel just gets kind of wrapped up into the already established fast fashion zeitgeist, we're not gonna get anywhere. Good, sustainable fashion is stuff that's durable, repairable, and versatile. Stuff that's ideally already being owned by another person so that you're not adding to the already monstrous pile of clothing trash that we throw out every single year. So we're excited about Tencel. We want to love this new product, but we are always a little hesitant with our praise because there's a lot of ways that this could go wrong. And Tencel, if you're listening, stay true to yourself. We believe in you. You just gotta follow through. We want to see you to the end, if you know what I mean. And hey, if you like this kind of content, we produce this stuff exclusively on Future Proof. We created this channel to talk about the brands and companies that are doing their best to make the future a more livable place, and of course, those that aren't, because there's always both. We have another episode coming up about Gore-Tex, which you might really enjoy, and we've made other videos about how Patagonia is using hemp in their new products. So check out all those videos if you're interested in that.